God tests you with silence before the blessing. Before we begin, take 1 second to subscribe to this channel because every video you watch here rewires your mind for wealth, clarity, and spiritual direction. When you join this community, you stop walking alone and start walking with purpose. Now listen closely. There is always a moment in your journey when God becomes silent. Not because he abandoned you, not because he forgot you, but because the silence itself is the test that opens the door to the blessing you asked for. Think about it. Every major transformation in the Bible and in Napoleon Hill's research begins with silence. A silence that feels like emptiness, isolation, emotional distance, confusion, and waiting. Abraham faced silence before receiving the promise. Joseph faced silence inside the pit, inside the prison, even inside the palace. Job faced silence before the doubling of everything he lost. And every self-made millionaire Hill studied faced a season where nothing moved, nothing responded, nothing grew. That silence is not punishment. It's preparation. It is the stage where God analyzes your vibration, your decisions, your emotional resistance, your discipline, and your ability to trust an invisible outcome. The silence is the final exam before the reward. And today, you will understand why the test exists, how to endure it, how to decode it, and how to use it to attract breakthroughs faster than ever. The silence before the shift. Silence is not the absence of God. It is the presence of instruction disguised as stillness. When God stops speaking, he is observing. Observing if you trust him without needing constant signs, applause, confirmations, or emotional validation. Napoleon Hill found that every person destined for extraordinary achievement walked through the valley of quietness, a phase where external progress appears frozen. No calls, no opportunities, no increase, no clarity. This moment is meant to test whether you act based on faith or fear. Most people collapse here. They panic, overthink, sabotage themselves, make desperate decisions, chase shortcuts, give up early, or start believing they are abandoned. But the spiritually mature understand that silence is divine strategy. Silence is the womb where the future grows. Seeds do not make noise while turning into trees. Your blessing is expanding beneath the soil of your silence. The test of internal alignment. During seasons of silence, God checks alignment, not your words, not your prayers, not your intentions, your alignment. Do your actions match what you asked for? Do your beliefs match the life you say you want? Hill explained that desire without alignment is spiritual confusion, and confusion blocks manifestation. Silence forces clarity. In silence, your fears surface so you can defeat them. Your doubts rise so you can burn them. Your insecurities come forward so you can correct them. Silence purifies your character until you vibrate at the frequency of the blessing. This is why the blessing never arrives early. It only arrives when you become the person capable of carrying it, and silence is the proving ground where that transformation happens. The delay is not a denial, it is a measurement. When nothing happens, God is measuring you, measuring your patience, measuring your emotional control, measuring your gratitude without evidence, measuring your decisions under pressure, measuring whether you pray only for results or for guidance, measuring whether you can hold faith when your senses scream the opposite. Every blessing has spiritual weight, and God will never give you something that breaks you. Hill repeatedly wrote that people fail not because the blessing never came, but because they weren't mentally prepared when it did. Silence is God preparing your hands to hold what he is sending. When you think he is late, he is actually protecting you. Engagement question, como pediu. Do you or someone you know ever experienced a moment where everything got quiet right before something big happened? The moment God returns to speak, there is always a precise second when the silence breaks. It comes unexpectedly, a message, an idea, a client. A solution, an opportunity, a shift, a door, a person, a miracle. The silence never breaks slowly, it breaks suddenly. One moment Joseph was in prison, the next moment he was in the palace. One moment the sea was closed, the next moment it opened. One moment the disciples were terrified. The next moment Jesus stood among them. God speaks again only when the test has been passed. And when he speaks, everything moves at once. Doors open, delays dissolve, paths clear, spiritual helpers appear. Your energy becomes magnetic. What once resisted you now comes toward you. That is the reward for surviving the silence. The final law. Hold the vibration. The silence is the filter. Only those who maintain the vibration during the quiet season qualify for the blessing. Hill called this emotional persistence. The Bible calls it faith. Science calls it coherence. Spirituality calls it alignment. When your internal frequency remains stable, even when everything external is unstable, you pass the test. You prove that you can walk by conviction, not emotion. You prove that you can maintain gratitude in the absence of proof. You prove that you can stay faithful in the absence of evidence. And when you do, the blessing becomes inevitable. If this message spoke to your spirit, like this video, share it with someone who needs it, and subscribe so you never miss the next chapter of your transformation. Every time you engage, you tell God and the algorithm that you are ready for the next level.